Hello and welcome to the DrivingMaul show. Hi, I'm Paul, back here with you on Monday at 8 p.m. Rounding up the action from the weekend of the Super Rugby. We had the two semi-finals at the weekend and running our way through a bunch of the rugby news that is going on at the moment. Now it looks like it's going to be a solo show. Cornflake has his voice is back, but unfortunately work commitments mean that he's unfortunately unable to make it this evening. But don't worry, we will be having him back. Also, I'm going to try and persuade him that we'll do a watch along for the final. So look out for that on the old socials as well. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Just look for New Zealand Sport Radio. And also you can listen to us as audio as well on the old podcast as well. So let's crack on then with a bit of the news. Good evening to Hector, who's in the live chat, and he says, when is the final? The final is on Saturday at 5:07 p.m. New Zealand time up at Eden Park. So none of these funny 4 o'clock afternoon kickoffs and all of that kind of things on that one. A couple of Chief supporters in the live chat there, which is good to see there. But as I say, let's have a quick look at the old at some of the news that's been going around. A couple of people, a couple of ex-All Blacks on the old Sky there, going, "Oh, I hope the referee doesn't decide the final." And all of that kind of stuff. Hector's asking, is Cornflake here? No, he's not. I'm sorry. Work has got in the way. So he is not going to be here for this one. Just replaying myself on that one. So, evening Simon, who tells us that Major League Rugby are now showing one game a week on YouTube. So that's a cool thing for them. Look, get that exposure, especially for a young league, is something that's really important. But saying, "Oh, look, I hope we don't end up with something like State of Origin style where the game's derailed because of a card or a head high." Well, look, pretty simple, folks. It's not the referee ruining game; it's the players. If the players don't tackle high, the referee can't call it. Pretty simple. So how about the players play within the laws of the game? I know we all talk about them pushing the envelope and all that kind of stuff, but the more they push the envelope, the more likely they're going to get sent off. So if they don't want to get sent off, then how about not tackling high? And actually following the laws of the game on that one. So, players, not officials, at fault for that one. There we go. The interesting article that apparently there's now a Sky sort of documentary behind the scenes thing going on with the All Blacks. I haven't seen this, but some report on that one, and that Razor is using different methods to select his All Blacks this time. It's going to be interesting that it looks like he's taking a more democratized kind of view of things, getting his assistant coaches involved a lot more on that one and putting more responsibility on them. Clearly, he's going to have the final say on the matter. But I think rather than it just being a top-down authoritative, this is who I'm picking, this is who you've got to work with, getting your assistants to put the arguments forward as to which players they want to select, and then you know what, they're the guys who do the training on the pitch, implementing your game plan. So no excuses from them on, you gave me the wrong players. You give it as kind of taking the excuses away and making sure people take responsibility for it. So do like the that kind of shared responsibility of that of the team there, rather than it just being around that kind of thing. Charlene drawing, and that the truth, Simon, put the blame where it is on the players and not on the referees. Exactly. Agree with that one. Also, he's added a couple of extra coaches to his where is it? To his coaching staff in Corey Flynn and David Hill. And interesting, the role that Corey Flynn's coming in for. Corey Flynn is being brought in to be the throwing coach So not a line-out coach, but just a throwing coach, which I think is actually a very good move. Apparently, he's been doing something similar with the Super Rugby teams for about a year or so now, which I think is is a good thing. I remember listening to a podcast with a player who went over to a Kiwi player who went over to the UK, and he said, yeah, for the first time in his career, he actually got taught how to throw the ball in at a line-out. And you think, geez, it's one of the major jobs of a hooker, and yet in New Zealand we don't have a specialist coach to go around doing that. I kind of mentioned it at the time, certainly a couple of years ago now, to add a couple of to a couple of sort of coaches. They reckon that actually, yes, New Zealand does have that kind of roll around, but I'm not convinced. So I'm great. It's great to see that it does exist now, and that he's going to be available to the All Blacks. So very cool from that point of view. And today I was listening to a Cameron Roygod interview podcast where he mentioned that he came through school rugby through the NPC, so through his through counties, and also playing for the Hurricanes. It wasn't until he got to the All Blacks 15 where he actually had a specialist scrum half coach who actually did scrum half drills, and you're kind of like, what? You managed to get yourself all the way up to Super Rugby level, and they don't have scrum half coaches doing scrum half drills with the players. It's amazing that a player gets that kind of level, gets to basically the team, kind of the All Blacks B team, before he actually gets taught how to be, and actually gets drills on how to be a scrum half. So that's absolutely amazing. The guy he dealt with there now apparently is part of the All Black setup, which is so at least he's got that relationship. But that to me is showing that I think that whilst we talk about the New Zealand system, or there's also talk about the New Zealand system being sort of ahead of the UK and France, etc., and Ireland, I think it's perhaps falling behind a little bit at Super Rugby level with some of these specialist coaching roles, and perhaps there needs to be more of a national scrum half coach who goes round the Super Rugby franchises, giving them the ability on that kind of thing. Because it seems strange not to actually sort of have that specialist coaching at that kind of level. So I was a bit surprised by that one. Especially scrum coaches, absolutely, that's very important from a safety point of view. And we've had kicking coaches for a long time now. I remember sort of kind of going back to kind of Johnny Wilkinson's kind of days, sort of 2003-ish, early 2000s is when sort of kicking coaches became kind of in vogue, and obviously they still exist today. So it's a bit surprising that the other kind. I mean, you have sort of scrum coaches or line-out coaches. It's a bit surprised we don't have those some of those other roles as well. People in sort of American football fans would be kind of amazed about the how small the coaching groups are and how wide the kind of remit of each assistant coach is, probably compared to that. So great, good to see. Good to see Corey Flynn in that role. I can't remember what the other role was, but it wasn't anything that's surprising in what Hill was going to be doing. So anyway, so I think that's good that they do that. Which I could get on a real radio station. Well, that'd be really kind of cool if I could. But unfortunately, we don't get paid for this kind of things. And as Dr. Wright says, you can have these skills as consultants. They don't have to be on permanent payroll. That is very true. You don't have to have them full time. They can have multiple different jobs on that one. Anyway, moving on then. Talking of old ex-players, Conrad Smith apparently has been taken up refereeing out there over in Taranaki, doing some schools and some women's games on that side of things. Look, he's now currently his role is with what was I going to say? I've gone blank. is with player representation at World Rugby level, which is very kind of cool. But yeah, look, he's decided actually to do a bit of refereeing to kind of learn that side of things as well, which is kind of cool. They apparently catch the. I thought he was still over in France, but apparently not. Apparently during COVID, they moved back to New Zealand as part of that one. So kind of interesting. He's done that. The article has also mentioned the fact that Glenn Jackson obviously went through as a player, then a referee, and now he's coaching. I did listen to an interesting podcast that he was involved. He did where one of the things that he was talking about was that. Hey Hector, I've seen your question about the merchandise thing. I'll get onto it. No, we don't have merchandise. I'm sorry, we don't. But you can become a Patreon and support us at patreon.com/NZ Sport Radio. Glenn Jackson was talking about how he, as a referee, he wanted to be yourself and basically not follow the laws that were sent down by World Rugby, which seemed a bit interesting. Kind of was kind of the nuance that I took out of it, and that he thought perhaps the safety thing had gone too far. I think that's perhaps one of the reasons I think players need protecting from themselves. And actually having ex-players as referees in some ways doesn't do that. In the fact that they kind of have that player mindset that a little bit of biff to sort things out is okay. In the there's kind of style of things, and that let the players play. So yeah, interesting one there from Glenn Jackson. That and why he probably didn't get selected for the Rugby World Cup. He's kind of intimated that was probably what it came down to, that he wasn't following. I wasn't adhering to the directives around some things as tightly as some of the other referees, and hence why he didn't make it to that to the Rugby World Cup. But anyway, interesting to see him now. I'll say treading his own path, and he's going to be head coach of the Fijian Ndrua next year, being assistant coach to Mick the Kick, who's now solely focusing on the Fijian national team. So that was kind of cool. So those two podcasts that I listened to, the Cameron Roygaard one is the What a Lad podcast, and the Glenn Jackson one is the Wandering Bear podcast. The Wandering Bear podcast is pretty much solely targeted at sort of coaching, rugby coaching. So yeah, the Wandering Bear podcast, where you can hear the Glenn Jackson one, and I say What a Lad podcast for the Cam Roygaard one. There, so two sort of podcasts I've listened to recently. Talking about Taranaki, it seems to be all happening down there at the moment. With Bowden Barrett turned out for Coastal at the weekend there. The playing against Inglewood in that game. When he came on, it was 5-all apparently, and then it finished 52-12. Yeah, maybe he had a little hand in that as they kind of ran away with it in that one. So well done. A couple of his cousins were playing in the team. I have watched the Coastal play when I used to live down there, and there was actually a Barrett on that one actually playing, but one of his brothers on that one. So as Dr. Rightfield, Barrett needs a run around, seeing he's not allowed to play for the Blues. Absolutely, he needs to keep keep fit, keep match fit, and keep his eye in. So, but good to see him down there. He wasn't named in the 22 and sort of late change on match day. Yes, that's to keep all the kind of media and other people away. But I think the locals found out because apparently there was a decent crowd at the weekend. So good to see him turning out for his old club that he basically learnt rugby with as a kid on that one. Last bit of kind of news is that Joe Smith is also a player. Oops. Looks like something has become unplugged. Oh. Sorry about that, folks. It looks like so. Yeah, I'm not to wire. Joe Smith has lost another coach, as another player. Sorry, it's Carter Gordon, the Melbourne Rebels 10 is going to go play in NRL for the Gold Coast Titans. Him, Mark Nitatasi, who's also going across. I think Bradford is going to, isn't it? For Marky Mark, both going across to NRL. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one goes. So it'll be interesting. So I say, good luck to him. And with the Melbourne's collapsing, clearly he needed a job for next year, and that's not a bad one to go to. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes in NRL next year on that one. One of the Hector was asking my thoughts on the TMO like VAR in rugby soccer. Look, I think we've got to a stage now with, especially with social media and people being able to but previously when you used to watch rugby, it's on a TV. You couldn't take a screen grab, and you couldn't put up what kind of happened. Nowadays you can, and so hence the scrutiny level has gone through the roof. My opinion on the TMO is essentially it's a fourth referee, just like like your two assistant referees on the lines. I think you just treat them as a fourth referee as part of the team, and I think you should be able to call out anything pretty much, to be honest with you, because otherwise the referees just got bashed for missing stuff. So why would we want to miss stuff? Get the right call, because rather than the wrong call, I think it's actually so. I'm pro TMO and the use of them. Obviously, I want them to be doing things real time, and hence why things like the Hawkeye setup is good, which gives them more views and stuff and control, rather than having to call on the TV direct like they did initially. It's important they get their own way of viewing it. So to me, yeah, absolutely, the TMO is part of it nowadays, because we just can't seem to on that one. I know this idea, yeah, you shouldn't go back rather than 5 phases. Look, I think there is I think speed is the big thing. So yeah, try calling it real time if you can. So no, talking about Timo, seeking perfection kills momentum of the game. Yes, it's going to be done as much as you can do it in real time would be good. But so I see them as basically another set of eyes on the game for that one. And it should be for clear things rather than necessarily 50-50s. And that's one of the problems with your kind of forward passes and that sort of things. Do I think more games should be live streamed? What is the cost? Look, I think one of the exposure of the game and growth of audience has got to be the key thing for rugby. For my mind, they've definitely spent too much time chasing the short-term dollar, and rather than building their fan base. As you can probably tell by my coughing, folks, I'm not going to be lasting much longer, so I'm going to get onto the games pretty quick. And I've got a sore throat that I've not been able to shift for a couple of weeks now, which means I'm talking continuously on my own, and I'm not going to last time. But someone else to bounce off and have a bit of a break between saying things would be okay than that one. Simon points out it's a good thing that Sky Open have been showing a live game every Saturday with advertising delays. It does need to be building the audience, getting people in the grounds, and not trying to just rely on TV audience for the income. I think is very important from my point of view. So let's quickly get on to the 2 games from the weekend. First up, we had the Blues versus the Brumbies, with 2 teams who in the first half just could not exit after a kickoff. Was really the name of the game here. and hence we got both sides basically alternating scores early on. And in the Blues' favour, they were scoring tries, whereas the Brumbies, well, they were kicking over penalties, and that meant that clearly the Brumbies were going to get behind and it was 12-6 at one point. So to me, I have been so to me, I think taking 3 points isn't a bad move. I actually saw the Blues do it towards half time, just to keep that, keep things ticking over, keep the ones gone. The game was done after 25 minutes. Yeah, it pretty much was. Those two tries by Derry and Clark, taking it out to 24-6 meant that I don't think the Brumbies got back within 2 scores after that one. It was over from that point of view. Just a matter of making sure from the Blues' point of view, making sure the Brumbies just didn't link up or didn't get consecutive scores one after the other to get themselves back into it. But the hologram says, taking 3 is all right when you're not leaking tries. True, but I thought at that point early on, where you don't know at that point, I think you just make sure you come away from points with those entries into the opposition. But yeah, no, the Blues showing that power again, and really are, and also that's the scrum was a big thing as well, wasn't it? In this one. The Brumbies scrum and set piece entirely is not what it used to be. They're a much more expansive team nowadays, with Toole and people like that, and Wright out wide. They really do have some damaging backs. But for the Blues, that up front power game working really well for them, and got themselves in a comfortable lead and stay there. Now injuries are going to be a problem, obviously, going into the finals for both teams. On that note, because we had at least one HIA on this one. So will Dalton Papulihi be available? Someone in his comments of, I got hit in the jaw or hit in the mouth, so it's not that important. So no, your mouth is part of your head, right? The top of your mouth, your top jaw is part of your skull. Getting hit in the face, getting hit in the mouth, does not stop HIAs. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. There really, Brumbies this year have had a bad set piece and don't even bother mauling anymore. What happened? Look, I think it's been I think it's not just been this year, but a couple of years now they've been moving away from being their pure bread and butter. And yeah, perhaps they've gone too far that way. Perhaps they do need to put a little bit more work into that one. So I think most of us expected the Blues to win that one. Perhaps not as comfortably as it was. So yes, to me, not to actually, many in box will tell you the jaw is pretty important. Well, yes, exactly. So we'll see if Dalton Papulihi is allowed to play. To me, look, if you're going to have a 10-day stand down after HIAs, he shouldn't be allowed to play. End of story. Now, clearly, I don't know. I think my sound is still there, but my camera seems to keep deciding to change. Let's try and get the right camera. There we go. So it's to me, if that's going to be a rule, he shouldn't be able to play. It's pretty simple. Clearly, I don't know the full details of his injuries and all that kind of stuff in his full history. Let's hope that the medical experts look after him properly. And as I say, the players need to be protected from themselves. Of course, he wants to play in the final. That's the whole way he plays rugby, is to be winning competitions and to winning things, and he wants to be there. So clearly, he wants to be. He'll want to play if he can. Into the Hurricanes versus the Chiefs one. The winners on Extreme. Hopefully, we'll be doing a live stream during the actual final. And I say we'll have another one at 8 p.m. New Zealand time next Monday reviewing the final and start looking towards the All Blacks, because the All Blacks squad will be selected on Monday. Will it be selected before or after the show? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. Holographic Tupac says, Christian didn't get stood down after Jacobson headbutt him, so Dalton should be all good. Look, no, we will not be live streaming the final. I don't have the rights to the game. We'll just be talking. We'll be live streaming us talking about the final as it's happening. Is what I hope to do. The inconsistency around, or from the outside, the inconsistency around the how HIAs and how head injuries are dealt with is just piss poor, in all honesty. With that one, Simon also points out, international rugby is back as well soon. Oh, geez. It's a quick look when those games are. So on Sunday, the 22nd of this weekend. Geez, it's this weekend. We have got Japan versus England at 6 p.m. Or 5:50 p.m. New Zealand time by the looks of things. And then on Sunday we've got at 1 a.m. in the morning, South Africa versus Wales and the Barbarians versus Fiji. So a couple of games coming up this weekend on the old international front as well. We'll have to talk about. I don't know if we'll be able to get to see those. The English-Japan one apparently hasn't got a broadcaster, and it's having to go out on Rugby Pass. So I don't know if that's free or not, or whether we'll have to pay for that. We'll have to wait and see how we can, if I can get to watch that one or not. Someone said, just joined. Who do you think will win? Haven't got that far yet. I'm not previewing. We're still reviewing. So on to the Hurricanes versus the Chiefs. Who do I think will win? I thought Hurricanes would, but the Chiefs did on that one. Simon, thank you. South Africa Wales will be on Sky Sport in New Zealand, but England Japan will be on Rugby Pass TV there. So we'll see. It's no, Rugby Pass didn't used to be free, but maybe it is now. We'll have to investigate that and look into it during the week. So look, Hurricanes versus the Chiefs. Look, again, talking about games being over pretty quickly. This one again was the Chiefs really came out of the blocks amazingly well in this one. And the Hurricanes really just could not control the breakdown. 22 turnovers in this game compared to 8 by the Chiefs. And if you're not going to look after your ball, you're going to be in real trouble. And hence the Chiefs ran out to a 0-17 lead, so a three score lead, and then that's after 15 minutes. And so basically, it was game over at that point. Coming back from the 3-score lead is extremely difficult. So on that one, and look, the Chiefs had to deal with adversity. Finau got a yellow card. I don't understand what was a yellow card. I thought it should be a red card. To be honest with you, it was head contact. There was no one in his way to change his line of sight. He came in at that height. He should have gone lower. He hit and he took there was head contact. Was it intentional? No. His arm hit shoulder, then his head hit TJ's head. But if you have your head at that height, you're putting yourself in the area of risk, and it's going to happen. And unfortunately, it will happen sometimes. So to me, I didn't see what the mitigation was. I couldn't see any mitigation there. It was direct contact to the head with his head. Why isn't that red? They found some mitigation. God knows what it was. And it was yellow. And he came back. Jacobson then also tackled a player off the ball. The pass had gone, and he made no attempt whatsoever to pull out of it. Again, the yellow card as well on that one was pretty clear, I think, to be honest. Look, players getting tackled when they're expecting it is fine, right? They brace, they get ready for it, all that kind of stuff. People getting hit when they're not expecting it, that's where injuries happen. Now, some of the times they don't see it coming. Well, tough. You're holding the ball, you should expect to get hit. But when you're not holding it, you're not expected to get hit. That's where you can get hurt. So, you can't be having that kind of thing. I mentioned about the rush defense in the live chat. Absolutely right. Yep. They really could not cope with that one. And I say at that point at 17-0, the game was pretty much over. They survived those 2 yellow cards. I mean, they did give up one try to Brett Cameron during the Luke Jacobson try, but so they didn't give up any points during the Finau yellow card. So 2 yellow cards, 20 minutes with a play down, only giving up one try. Well done to the Chiefs, and they deservedly into the final with that kind of start. Look, I think Clayton McMillan strikes me as the kind of coach who is very good at targeting games like this and going, right, yeah, okay, so this game, guys, this is how we do it. As far as he was concerned, all that mattered was a top 4 finish during the season, get yourself that home quarter final so you don't have to travel. And what's their travel been for the semi-final of the final? Down to Wellington and up to Auckland. It's hardly very far. That's not like the Highlanders had to, where they were flying across to South Africa, back to New Zealand, or back to Australia, then back to South. The travel really wasn't good. Satiti versus Satutu was a great marketing matchup. And look, there has been a lot of hype around Satiti. Really good player, really, really well. But look, rush him into the All Blacks. How about giving him a chance, guys? Let him get used to this level rather than trying to rush him straight up necessarily. I don't think the All Blacks are short of good number 8s with Satutu and Arnie around. I don't think there is a there's much they can do there. But to say, this was all won in the first quarter of an hour. The Chiefs came out with a game plan, hard rush, really challenged the breakdown. The Hurricanes couldn't live with it, and the game was gone. Simple as that. Well, it sounds simple. Executing it, coming up with the right plan, not simple. So well done to the Chiefs on that. So Blues Chiefs for the final. Look, you've got it. I mean, Blues clearly go into this one as favourites. I must admit, I've not looked at because this one because they met in the final round of the regular season with the Blues coming out on top. Sure, the Chiefs stopped them getting a bonus point, so or something. Yeah, it was 31-17. So look, the Blues go into this one as heavy favourites on that. The Braden Nielsen, also has had a great season as well. So look, there's a lot of good back row talent in New Zealand at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see which way they go. But I say player particularly Satiti with his first full season. I think, look, give the kid a chance to grow into the role rather than actually now you have to rush everyone through. So look, the Blues go in as strong favourites. What does the TAB say about this one? I was bringing up the odds at the moment. The Blues $1.50, whereas the Chiefs $2.45. So quite strong favourites for the Blues in that one. Simon said he's had a bet on the Chiefs winning from the start of the season. So well done on that one. But the flip side to it is that Clayton has history. I think he's good at targeting these kind of games. He probably had 2 weeks for the Hurricanes one. So it'll be interesting to see if they can come up with a similar plan against the Blues on this one. Not too much. So I wonder how bad the injury to Sony is. How many weeks just coming into form now. I thought we were talking kind of weeks rather than months from what I think I heard. But I'll be honest, I don't know what that one is for Samassoni. But the Blues hoping that their reserve hooker is going to be okay because he also went off injured as well. And hence we went down to uncontested scrums, or as the referee called it, old boys scrums. So it's was a bit. So it'll be a bit interesting to see who the Chiefs can actually get on the pitch for this last one. What even is the right game plan against the Blues? You have to match them up front, and there's no way around it. I don't think. Yes, there is. Actually, you have to match them up front, but there are things like How do you pressure the scrum half? Do you try and get in the passing lines? Do you rush certain players up or a certain position or up to try and get into passing lines and stop some of the flip-ons? So you actually are confronting the person with the ball. You don't have to worry about the shift on and the second player getting it going through, which I think we saw quite a bit of against the Brumbies. So if there's a way of getting in there, stopping that pass, and then you're able to deal with the guy. So there are a number of things around that. It's not yes. It's very simple to say, yeah, you just got to front up. I mean, that's part of it, clearly. But there is more detail into it than that. As I say, how do you stop the offload or the little shuffle pass just before contact, so that the guy you are contacting with does stop the actual play? How do you slow the ball down so you can actually get yourself set up ready for another rush? Because quick ball is going to be the problem. Jacobson hits into the ribs, dislodged the ball, stopping the pick and go. Well, there you go. That might be part of it. Sure. Yeah, we'll just have to see if they can come up with that plan. Yes, as far as TV punditry goes, you've just got to front up. But I think there is more to it than that, to be honest. And I'll be honest, folks, with that, my throat is starting to die on me. Look, Blues Green as favourites. You've got to say that with this. They do have a power game. That's difficult to stop. And so hence you'll go with the Blues to win this one, especially as they beat the Chiefs just a couple of weeks ago. As I say, 31-17. So again, a 14-point win there, a two-score win. So they don't have to worry about the bonus point this time. They just have to get the win at the end of the day. So hence that's why I'm backing the Blues. And with that, folks, stay safe. Sorry about my throat and voice. And I will catch you all next week at 8 p.m. on Monday to review Super Rugby final. We've got England versus Japan. We've got South Africa, Wales. We've also got, we may also have the All Black squad at that point as well. So lots of stuff to talk about next week.